Welcome to our Thursday morning practice. This officially marks the halfway point of this 7-day yoga and meditation challenge. I hope it's been going well. And since we are at this tipping point in the challenge, I wanted this practice to be all about balance. So we are working with some fun balancing poses and transitions. And as with all of the practices in this challenge, each day is paired with an affirmation. This morning's affirmation is, I easily balance my time between work, rest, and play. I easily balance my time between work, rest, and play. So we're going to use this affirmation throughout this class as well as throughout the 5-minute meditation, which I'll encourage you to do at the end of this practice. Let's begin actually standing up. We're right away going to focus on our balance. Come into mountain pose at the top of the mat. So you can bring your feet about hip-width distance apart. Roll your shoulders away from your ears. Lengthen your tailbone down. Pull your lower belly in. And try to root to rise as you reach the crown of your head up and close your eyes. Lightly hugging your shoulder blades behind you to open through your heart. I easily balance my time between work, rest, and play. And as we try to find our own internal balance here, with your eyes closed, rock all of your weight forward into the balls of your feet and notice how this makes your toes grip. And now rock all the way over to the right and see how you have to adjust. Rock all the way back to your heels. All the way over to the left. And now find that midway point between those four corners. So if ever you notice your toes gripping into the floor, try to get them to relax. Let's open through our eyes. You're going to lean on your right leg, pull your left knee up and in towards your belly, lifting up tall. So even though now we're just on our one right foot, notice where your weight is getting distributed. And see if you can start rolling through that left ankle, flexing and pointing your toes. Maintain the length through your spine. Strong through that supporting right knee. And now use hip flexor strength to keep that knee up high as you bring your hands to your heart. Virabhadrasana 3 into your warrior 3 as you lean your chest forward and extend that left leg back. Try to keep that left hip rolling down, flexing through that back foot as if you're kicking against the wall behind you. Again, are you digging your toes into the mat? Try to lighten the amount of weight there. Into your high lunge, bend a little through that right knee just so you can place the ball of your left foot behind you. You want your feet to be about hip-width distance apart. I need to bend a little bit in my back knee, especially first thing in the morning, so I have tightness through my hip flexors. And you can extend your arms up overhead, palms facing in towards one another. So maintaining steady balance here in the pose. Take one more full deep breath, and then you can start to tip forward just until you can place your palms to the mat and let your left knee come back to the floor. Into your balancing tabletop pose, you're going to extend that right leg back behind you, roll your right hip down, try to flatten out through your lower back, and then maybe add on by reaching your left arm up. Bicep is along your ear, thumb is pointing up, and try to lift out of your right shoulder. Big breath in here. Bend into your right knee, reach back with your left hand and see if you're able to catch a hold of your foot or of your ankle as you find your tiger pose. Lifting that knee up nice and high. Big breath in, expanding through your heart. And carefully release, reverse this motion, cat stretch. As you round And we'll press back, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. I easily balance my time between work, rest, and play. How true is this for you? Let's walk our feet forward to the top of the mat. We'll find our ragdoll fold. So your feet are a little wider than your hips. Let yourself just kind of drape over your legs. So definitely you can bend your knees here. Don't worry about super stretching into your hamstrings. We're just trying to decompress. And let's take a cleansing breath in through the nose, big sigh out the mouth. Release your hands to the mat. Bend your knees a little bit more so you can push your heels into the floor. Come all the way up to stand, finding your mountain pose, Tadasana, once more. Feet are hip width distance apart. Close your eyes. Shine your palms forward. And without doing that tilting in all four corners, can you now find that center point where you're lifting up through the arches of your feet, lightly engaging your abdominals. And you can open up your eyes, lean on your left leg a little bit more as you pull your right knee in towards your belly. And already just notice what kind of shift this has brought on, especially in your left foot. We want to strengthen our ankles so that we're not rolling to the inner or outer ankles. And you can roll through your right foot, flexing and pointing through those toes. Trying to stretch through our extremities a little bit. As much as possible, try to keep your right knee as high as it is right now, just bringing your hands to your heart. And we'll find our warrior three, Virabhadrasana 3. Start to extend your right leg back behind you as much as possible, keeping your hips leveled and squared so they're parallel to the floor. This is not like your half moon pose where we're trying to stack our right hip over the left one. And I like to gaze slightly forward. I find this helps with balance quite a bit as well. Pulling your lower belly in. And we'll find our high lunge. So as you bend into that front knee, let the ball of your right foot come down to the mat. Find your space here. So feet about hip width distance apart. Tailbone down, lower belly in. Lift up as you reach your arms up. So getting a big thigh stretch. And trying to distribute your weight evenly. We'll tilt forward so we can bring our hands to the floor and then let your right knee and shin come down to the mat as you straighten and extend your left leg back behind you. Roll your left hip down and in, pull through your lower belly, balancing table pose. Maybe extend your right arm, bicep along the ear. This does require a good amount of strength. Slow, steady breaths. Into your tiger pose, bend your left knee, reach back to hold on to whatever you can grab a hold of as you pull and lift that knee up even higher, opening through your chest. Carefully release, find your cat stretch, just as a little counter pose here. And we'll find our downward dog, tuck your toes under. Lift your hips up and back. And if you'd like, you can take a vinyasa from here. We'll come forward to plank pose, lower down, Bhujangasana Cobra. And let's find child's pose, Balasana. Big toes together, knees as wide as you would like them to be. Pressing your hips back towards your heels and folding down. Slowing down your breath, your heart rate. Using this as an opportunity to set the tone for the day ahead. And let's come up onto hands and knees. We'll take one more last little balancing pose from here. So from your tabletop, make sure you have your hands underneath your shoulders, and we're gonna straighten the left leg, roll to the inner edge of that left foot so you can come to your modified side plank pose. So a variation of Vashisthasana. And if you'd like to challenge your balance further, you're going to squeeze into the glutes to lift that left foot off the floor. So definitely a balancing act here. If you'd like to add one more challenge, you're going to do this side tiger variation by bending into your left knee, trying to keep your foot at the same height as your hip as you push the foot into the palm and lean back slightly. Definitely a challenging one. We're not here for very long. Just give it one more breath. And cat stretch. Bring that knee and that palm down, round it out. And we'll go and do the same thing to the other side. So go ahead and straighten your right leg. Roll to the inner edge of that right foot. Lean on your left hand and stretch your right arm up. Maybe you hold here. This is option 1. Option 2, you're going to lift that right foot off the mat, trying to keep your heel roughly at the same height as your hip. Trying not to hold your breath. And finally, maybe transitioning to that side tiger as you bend into that right knee. Push the foot into the palm, leaning back a little. And let's release. Take your cat stretch, round it out. And we're going to bring our hips back to the heels and reach back so that you can hold on to your heels with your hands. And you can bring your forehead down to the mat. Start to lift your hips up. Keep the hold of your heels in this rabbit pose. So you're kind of rolling a little bit more to the top of your head. We're stretching along your spine. And release. Stay in this simple child's pose with your arms reaching back. You can roll up so that you're still sitting directly over the top of your heels. We're going to interlace our hands, flip the palms, and reach them up towards the sky. Big stretch in here. And little side bend over to the right. And over to the left. Coming up, back through to center. And release. Thank you so much for doing this Thursday morning yoga flow with me, all about balance. Please follow this up with our Thursday morning 5-minute meditation. This will really help you set the tone for the day ahead. You should be able to click on it somewhere on the screen, and the link is also down in the description box. Hopefully you'll join me tomorrow morning for the Friday morning practice.